session 3 of Holiness, and we've established in the last 2 sessions God is holy. When Moses was leading the people through the desert, he was called to go up and meet with God on Mount Sinai. And so Moses requested God, "Could I see your glory?" God's reply was, "I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, but you cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live." And then he continued on, "There is a place near me where you can stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I'll put you in a cleft of the rock and cover you with my hand until I have passed by. Then I will remove my hand and you'll see my back, but my face must not be seen." Not even Moses was able to look on the glory of God. It just would have been too much for him. In fact, when he went down the mountain, he didn't realise it, but he'd had a glimpse of the glory of God and it was reflected on his face. And it was so strong that the people down there asked him to cover his face, put a veil over it, because we can't stand to look on the glory that's shining. And that was only a reflected glory. In 2 Samuel 6, we have the story of the people already settled in the Promised Land and David as their king. And David was wanting to bring the Ark of the Covenant up to Jerusalem because he was establishing it as his capital. The Ark was, of course, the very presence of God. People could not touch the Ark. When they broke camp in the desert and moved it, it was carried on poles, so there was a ring on each corner of the Ark, and poles went through that ring, and then the priests were able to lift it on their shoulders. No human hand needed to touch the Ark. While they were shifting the Ark this time, they actually had it on a cart, and one of the oxen pulling the cart stumbled, and one of the priests, called Uzzah, he leant out and put his hand there to steady the Ark, and Uzzah was struck down and died. This put a tremendous fear into the people. You see, even a well-intentioned act could not allow a human being to disrespect the holiness of God. The whole system of temple worship, all the rules of cleansing, all there to remind people of the holiness of God. Anyone who touched a dead body, a lady who had her monthly bleeding, a person who had leprosy, all these people were unclean and couldn't come into the temple until they'd gone through rites of purification. Certain occupations made a person unclean, and being a shepherd was one of them, because they were out in the fields with sheep all the time. Then came the most amazing thing, that holy God chose to come and live among us. A baby born in a very unclean place to very ordinary people. The birth announced to the shepherds the ritually unclean. A holy God chose to come to be with human beings who were so far removed from him. It's once we get a sense of the awesome holiness of God that we get a sense of just how amazing it was that he chose to come and live this life.
When I look into your holiness, when I gaze into your loveliness, when all things that surround become shadows in the light of you, when I found the joy of reaching your arms, when my will becomes enthralled in your love, when all things that surround become shadows in the light of you, I worship you, I worship you. The reason I live is to worship you. I worship you. I worship you. The reason I live worship you.